When we think of Antarctica, we usually picture this huge, empty, white landscape, just ice. But that's not the whole story, not even close. Because right now, powerful nations are in a quiet, high-stakes race for what's buried underneath all that ice. And believe me, the clock is ticking.
So, that's the big question, right? Why? What could possibly be down there that's worth all this trouble and tension? To answer that, we've got to take a journey from the surface of the ice sheet down to the actual bedrock of a continent nobody has ever seen. And the answer to all of this, it all comes down to a single date.
And here it is, 2048. So what's so special about this year? Well, that's when the international treaty that protects Antarctica, the one that bans mining and territorial claims, can be reviewed. Now, that might sound like it's a long way off, but for countries playing the long game, the race is already on, because they know that when that date hits, the only thing that will matter is who's already there. Presence becomes power.
Okay, so to really get what's at stake, our journey starts at the top, with the ice itself. Because you see, this isn't just a bunch of frozen water. It's more like a library, a perfectly preserved library holding the secrets of our planet's entire history.
And how it works is actually pretty amazing and really simple. Every single year, a new layer of snow falls, and that new snow presses down on all the layers below it, compacting them into ice. As it does that, it traps these tiny pockets of the atmosphere from that year, sealing them away in time. Just think of each layer like a tree ring, but for the whole planet.
So scientists can drill down and pull up these long cylinders of ice, these ice cores. And this is what makes it so mind-blowingly valuable. We are literally looking at bubbles of air from over 1 million years ago, long before modern humans were even around. It's a perfect time capsule of our atmosphere, recording everything from carbon dioxide levels to ancient volcanic eruptions.
And the surface itself is full of these wild surprises. In some spots, these incredibly strong winds scrape away all the new snow, leaving behind this ancient blue ice that just glows. The air bubbles have been squeezed out, so it looks otherworldly. But then, not far away, you've got an active volcano, Mount Erebus, that's melting out these warm steam caves where scientists have found DNA from species they've never seen before. It just shows you, even in the harshest place on Earth, life finds a way.
But the real secrets aren't on the surface. Now we have to go deeper, way deeper. We're going below the ice archives, into a world of crushing pressure, total darkness, and flowing water. And this is where things start to get really weird.
So the first thing you have to understand is that Antarctica isn't just one giant, stable block of ice. It's got this split personality. Over in the west, the ice is thinning and melting pretty fast. But in the east, which is much colder and thicker, some parts are actually gaining ice because of more snowfall. It's a paradox, and figuring out this split is absolutely key to knowing what happens next.
And get this, hidden between all that ice and the rock below, scientists have found almost 700 subglacial lakes. And they're not just sitting there, they're all connected in this massive continent-spanning drainage system. We're talking about rivers and lakes moving huge amounts of water hundreds of miles across the continent, completely in the dark.
And every once in a while, that hidden plumbing system bursts through to the surface. This is blood falls. No, it's not actually blood, thank goodness. It's this super salty, ancient water that's been trapped and sealed off from the air for millions of years. It's so full of iron that the second it hits the oxygen in our atmosphere, it literally rusts, staining the glacier this incredible, shocking red. Blood falls is way more than just a cool, weird thing to look at. It's like a water sample from that hidden world. It tells us that these secret rivers are carrying iron and other nutrients from under the continent all the way out into the Southern Ocean. And that, in turn, is what feeds the entire marine food web, from tiny plankton all the way up to the great whales. It all starts right here, in the dark, under the ice.
All right, time for the final leg of our journey down. We are going past the ice, past the hidden water, all the way to the bedrock. We are about to see the real face of Antarctica, a continent that no human being has ever laid eyes on. So how on earth is that possible? Well, using tech like ice-penetrating radar flown on planes, scientists have collected millions upon millions of measurements of the land hidden beneath. They can plug all that data into supercomputers and basically digitally peel back the entire ice sheet to reveal what's been buried for ages.
And what they found, it's just staggering. There are entire mountain ranges, as big as the European Alps, totally hidden from view. And right near them is Denman Canyon, which is the deepest land canyon anywhere on Earth, plunging more than 2 miles below sea level.
This digital map also showed something really fundamental. Under all that ice, Antarctica isn't really one continent, it's two. You've got East Antarctica, which is this ancient, stable, thick slab of continental crust. But West Antarctica is totally different. It's made of younger crust that got stretched and fractured and thinned out, creating these really deep basins.
And that thin crust in the west is the real key. It lets heat from deep inside the Earth get much closer to the surface. We're talking dozens of active volcanoes hidden down there, not really erupting up, but constantly melting the ice sheet from the bottom. This goes a long way to explaining why West Antarctica is so much more unstable.
So we've got this incredible, dynamic world hidden from view, a scientific gold mine. But what does any of this have to do with geopolitics? Well, as it turns out, everything we just discovered is precisely why all these nations are so interested.
So what's really driving this race? It all comes back to geology. You see, Antarctica used to be welded to South America, Africa, and Australia as part of a supercontinent. And those continents are all incredibly rich in minerals, oil, and gas. Geological surveys strongly suggest Antarctica has similar massive deposits, potentially worth trillions of dollars, just sitting there, waiting under the ice.
Now, for the moment, all of that is completely off limits. The Antarctic Treaty, which was signed way back in 1959, set aside the entire continent for peace and science. It flat out prohibits any military activity and, most importantly, any kind of mining or resource extraction. But, and this is the big but, in 2048, that ban on mining can be changed. And that right there is the heart of the whole issue. All the scientific research, the new stations being built, the resource mapping, it's all about establishing a foothold now. It's about positioning your country so that if that door to extraction creaks open in 2048, you're already there, ready to go. Presence becomes power.
And you can see the big players are already setting up the chessboard. Russia has been doing massive seismic surveys, which is basically creating a treasure map of where the oil and gas might be. China is expanding like crazy, building these huge state-of-the-art research stations. Meanwhile, the US is kind of struggling with some aging infrastructure. You can literally watch the balance of power on the ice shifting in real time.
You know, for over 60 years, the world has actually managed to protect this incredible continent, to let its amazing systems just work undisturbed. But as our technology makes the unreachable reachable, and as that 2048 deadline gets closer and closer, you just have to ask, for how much longer?